Hey guys, how is everybody doing with the release of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes releasing in theaters here in just a few weeks? Here are my thoughts on the original 1968 classic film, Planet of the Apes. Get this all out of the way, this is my first time watching this movie. I have never seen the original Planet of the Apes films before. I've only seen the Caesar trilogy that ended about 7 years ago. God, it's been that long. And unfortunately, I have also seen the Tim Burton remake before I've seen the original. I'm not proud of that. But anyways, so yeah, this was a first time watch for me. I kind of knew what I was going into because with this movie being as old as it is, and everybody knowing how popular it is for pop culture and I've seen the Caesar trilogy, so I kind of know what's to expect. So yeah, I didn't have any surprises going in, but I was still intrigued watching the movie. So with that all the way, here are my thoughts on the original classic, Planet of the Apes. Starting off with my positives on the original Planet of the Apes is that I do really like the set design of this movie to where they really bring this whole, excuse me, whole landscape to life, especially in the beginning of the film when Taylor and his two friends are getting out of the ship and kind of exploring, trying to figure out where they are. Especially when they're walking around in the Forbidden Zone, they call it in this film. When they're walking around there, like, it seems real that they're walking in, like, an actual desert, like, stuff like that. And then you get like out of there to where there's like a whole area just full of cages of people, and like the scene where the apes go after the humans when they're hiding in the fields collecting food and all that. Like scenes like that. My voice keeps cracking for some reason. Well, not like a voice crack, but it like does like a ruffling thingy. But yeah, like the set design stuff, like the whole landscape of the film, I do think it's great. You can tell they shot it like on set and didn't have to make like set designs for it, which is one of my favorite things about old movies is that they don't have to use CGI or green screens to get shit done. Hollywood, cough cough. But anyways, I do like the set design. I do like the landscape of the film. It's absolutely amazing that I really liked about this movie in the beginning of the film is like the first like half an hour, like 30, like maybe like the first 25 or half, like 30 minutes of the film, it keeps it a mystery to you to where us as an audience nowadays going into this film, we know what we're going to watch. We already know what's going to happen. But something about the film to where I really enjoyed and something I didn't really expect myself to really like about the film is that it takes its time leading up to it to where it doesn't just like rush it like this happens, here's the apes, this happens. It doesn't like rush the film at all. It starts off slow and it just keeps it a mystery on where our characters are because to our character Taylor, who's our main character played by Charlton Heston, all he knows is that they're just on a different world, like millions of miles away from Earth. That's all that he knows, and that they're in the like a weird year, like and the year that they're in, that Earth is just gone. Like everybody this guy knew, everybody his friends knew are just dead now because they're in like the year 3600 in this film. And in the beginning of the film, they're walking around like they're just trying to scavenge for food. They're trying to figure out where they are. They're just trying to figure out something. They just don't know where they are. And as us, that audience, we know it's going to happen. But at the same time, we're really intrigued to see. It's like, I wonder what they're gonna do next. Like, are they gonna keep it a mystery longer, or are they just gonna finally show us the apes? I really enjoyed that about the film, and I didn't really expect to like that about the film. That's not something I really saw myself to like about the film either. But yeah, that's something about the film that I really enjoyed about the film, to where us as an audience are going with these characters and we're seeing all these things for the first time as well, to where we don't know what to expect. Like the part where they're in the water, like in the water, cleaning themselves up, giving themselves a bath and a shower in a way, and then you just see glimpses of characters just grabbing their clothes because they had to undress, obviously, and they're just stealing their clothes and food and water, stuff like that, and running away. It's like, what is going on? And then you see them all in a field and they're not talking, they're just eating, and like and Taylor's just like, oh, there's just mindless humans on this planet. But then all these apes come in. It's like all that. It's a great beginning of the film to where it keeps you guessing on things, and it like when it introduces something, it's like It's clever in a way. Of course, when you talk about Planet of the Apes, you cannot just mention the great practical effects of bringing these apes to life, of the effects and the bodies and like, oh, get out of here, Dust. It's like the suits that they put on these characters, on these actors and actresses to make them look like apes. I think years later, decades later, it still holds up and it still looks great. Sure, you could have just used complete. You can use just complete CGI nowadays, which a lot of people are against. Which I still think the apes look great in those films. But practical effects in these films have been always great in bringing these apes to life because putting these actors in these ape suits and to make them look like apes. They did a great job, but you can like us. We all know they're actors in there, but you get so into the film to where you forget that there's people in these suits playing these monkeys. Those are actual people portraying these monkeys, but the practical effects and like the suits that they're wearing to make them look like a monkey, they look amazing. Like it's unbelievable that the fact that they were able to do that back then, and it's a shame that Hollywood won't do that anymore. But again, I do think CGI monkey apes don't look so bad, but they just look amazing in this film. Kudos to everybody that brought that to life, and it just looks amazing. I do have one issue with it that which I'll get to later, but it's years later, it still looks amazing about the movie that I really like what they do with the human characters in this film is that they make them less intelligent in the film to where the monkeys do seem like they have the higher advantage and that they seem more intelligent and where they know more because in this film that they're to them the monkeys in this film, the humans in this film to the monkeys they're just lifeless pets. They look to them as pets as we look at dogs and cats. Some people just look at them as mindless animals, which I don't, and I think if you do, then you're a gigantic douchebag. But like they look at humans in this film as like mindless and careless freaks in a way. They just think that they have no intelligence, they don't know how to do anything, they don't know how to speak. They're just mindless animals to them in this film, and I like that because that's what makes Tyler's character more important in this film in a way, and more intriguing because he's the only human character that knows how to write, actually knows how to spell, actually knows how to talk, and actually knows how to do these things. And the rest of the human characters are just there, and they're just mindless beings. And I like that because it makes Tyler special of this about this film, and the doctor of this film, I forget her name, and she tries to reach them, tries to get them to speak, and actually gets them to do things in this film, which I really like about the film. And it, again, it gives the apes more of an advantage. It makes them look like the smarter beings here, not having the humans talk in the film, which I really like. That's something that's really clever, and again, once again, makes Tyler look like the better person in a way. Once again, talk about Taylor. The scene where he's finally able to speak is amazing. To where he's finally getting away from the apes when they're about to do brain surgery on him. He runs away from them, but he's good. And it's a pretty good chase scene too. But then the final scene where he's finally caught and he's finally able to scream after being a mute for so long is an amazing scene. What is wrong with my nose? And the scene where he finally does speak, which he's been a mute at this point for maybe a half an hour, maybe longer than that. And where he's been a mute this whole time and trying to show all these apes that he is able to speak, he is able to do this. And then when he's finally able to say it and show them that he can't speak, it's a groundbreaking scene to where all the apes look at him and like, did he just speak?
Your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Like, like that scene's just like every ape looking at him like he's a freak in a way. It's like, holy shit, he just speak. It's like, imagine looking at a dog, and then the dog says something to you. You would be like, did that motherfucker just talk to me? Like, that scene alone is amazing. And it should like send shivers up your spine in a way. That's how great the scene truly is. Something about this film that I really liked, and it has to do with the writer of this film, which is like, he was the guy that made the Twilight Zone, and I'm not talking about the vampire movie. I don't want to talk about that film. It ruined vampire movies for me for a while. But Ron Sherling, I believe his name was, he is the creator of the Twilight Zone, I believe, or the writer. He is one of the writers of this film, and something I like about the film is it feels like this movie feels like a really long episode of the Twilight Zone, and I grew up watching that when I was younger because I was into horror movies when I was younger, just a little bit. But like watching the Twilight Zone, and then when you watch this, you would kind of mistake it as like a longer episode of the Twilight Zone. That's how much I like this film, especially the ending. And there's like apes talking to these humans and all that. Like this movie just feels like a long episode of the Twilight Zone, and like all the stuff going on is like something you would see in the Twilight Zone in a way. I like that about the film, and when I was watching it, and when I saw Ron Sherling's name in the writer section of the credits, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then after you know that thought, and when you watch the movie, you go, "You know what? This movie does feel like the Twilight Zone." I honestly feel this could have worked as an episode of it, but it's just a small little positive, but it's something that I liked about the film. My final positive, and of course, the ending. The ending is one of the greatest endings and twists of all time, and it's part of pop culture at this point. Even if you have never seen this film, you know the ending of this film where Charlton Heston is riding on a horse and he sees the Statue of Liberty, and then he realizes this planet he's been on has been Earth all along. He's been home and he's been on Earth in the near future. And he realizes that apes are now the dominant species. They have taken over Earth, and now humans are stupid because in that one shot you can just say humans fucked up, and now apes are taking over the Earth. They control Earth now. This is why I hate people. You're gonna make that happen one day, people. Yeah, so fuck you. Oh wait, I'm a human. Moving on to my mixed aspects. And now, this is not a character that I hate or despise, but the villain of Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius, Dr.
Now, Dr. Zaius, this is a villain I don't know how to feel about. Now, I understand if you would like him. Now, I would understand if you think he's a good villain. I understand that, but the entire time I was watching this film, I never felt like he was a true threat. Now, again, you could say he's not meant to be a threat. He's just the president or the ruler of all these apes, and and if something bad happens, he orders the other apes to do his bidding. Then he never has to get his hands dirty. That's cool. I like seeing that, but he never felt like a true threat to me because the entire time I was watching it, if Charlton Heston would do something bad or make him angry in a way. He never had any apes like go towards him to like attack him or kill someone that he truly cared about. The only times that he really threatened him was when he threatened to remove his brain or do surgery on his brain. Those were the only times where he felt like a true threat, but even then it's like he's not going to do it because he said it like 15 times at this point. But he's not a bad villain, that's for sure. And with the previous, with the next Planet of the Apes movies, like with Koba, he just feels like a a villain that I just don't care for much. But I don't hate him. He's a cool villain for sure. But the entire time, I just never felt he was like a true threat throughout the entire movie. He never felt like this presence every time he would walk into a room that I should be afraid of. Because the entire time I was like, this guy doesn't seem like a guy you wouldn't want to piss off, but if you did piss him off, you like wouldn't he wouldn't really care, and he wouldn't like if you wouldn't care if you pissed him off because he's not gonna do shit about it. Moving on to my negatives. Now, when I was praising the practical effects of bringing the monkeys and apes to life, which I still love, but the only thing that keeps me from absolutely loving it is whenever they talk, it doesn't match what they're saying because it just looks like this. It just looks like they're talking just to get to the mouth to move. Like it just caught me off guard. It didn't catch me off guard, but the entire time I was watching it, it just didn't seem right in a way because the entire time they were talking, I'm like, well, it doesn't look like that's what they were saying. It just looks like they're talking, just to get, and the entire time they're talking, the mouth part of the prosthetics would just move up and down. And something that got me to laugh so hard, which I did not expect, the two characters of this movie, the doctor and the soon to be the possible husband of the doctor of this film, the lady doctor, they they kiss in one scene. It seriously just looks like this. When I saw that, it got me so off guard, and I started dying laughing because I was like, "That looks stupid." Like it's that, like something like that. It's like that. It just doesn't look right. And maybe if they fix that, maybe I would have a problem with it. But just the entire time the apes would talk, their mouth would just not match what they're saying, and it just bothered me the entire time I would watch the film. And the love interest for Taylor's character, Charlton Heston's character, she might as well not have been there, okay? Because the entire time she's in this movie, she just is just there, just to talk to Taylor. She's just there. Like the entire time she's in the room, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're here." Like in the very end when they're on the horse and like he smiles at her, it's like, "Oh yeah, you're still here." Like she just doesn't talk. Like I get it. Like I said, I praise that about my positives, but if you're gonna have a love interest in this film, have them talk too, I guess, or just not have them in there because if you're gonna have a love interest and they're not gonna talk or kiss or anything, it just seems off. The entire time I was watching, I'm like, what are you still doing here? Fucking do something. Like, if you're gonna do there, say something. It just like, you might as well not have been there the entire time. And it just bothered me because it's like, if you can't talk or do anything, why the fuck are you here? All in all, guys, Planet of the Apes, it's a classic for a reason. It started this whole franchise, and it's a praised film for a reason. It's a popular film for a reason. It changed the movie industry for a reason. It is a popular culture film, whatever. It's a iconic film for sure. But however, though I do like it and it is an iconic film, I don't really see myself rewatching the movie much. However, I do feel that it is worth owning and it is a damn good movie. So, it may not be a movie I rewatch much, but it is still a film I do like. What do you guys think about the original 1968 classic Planet of the Apes? Have you seen this movie? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Do you prefer one of the original sequels? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, I'll see you all next time.